Alright, so Record of Ragnarok, Apocalypse of the Gods, chapter number 1. You guys smashed the like goal on part 1, so make sure you go check out that video if you have not before watching this one, if you want to see it all in order. So let's try for 200 likes on this one, and make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already. We're picking up right where we left off with Ra and Zeus facing off. Ra said, we're gonna settle this here and now. Right as they're about to start scrapping, we get a dog in the background barking. He says, woof. We then see Cuchulainn emerge as he goes and pets on the dog. Says, oh yes, sorry guys. Must have been bored here, huh? Ra doesn't even look at the kid and says, be gone boy. I don't know who you are, but do you and your filthy animal want to be burnt to ashes? Cuchulainn looks up at him and says, what? Pats his dog on the head and says, my bad, I couldn't really hear you there. Anyways, you're kind of bugging me, big man. Mind leaving? I've got some business with the old geezer to the right of you. Talking about Zeus, obviously. This pisses Ra off, and Zeus actually laughed and got excited. Zeus says, question. Judging by your appearance, might you be looking to join the tournament, boy? Cuchulainn says, yeah, sure. Is there something you wish to ask me? Says Zeus. Ares, Hermes are nervous. Ra is watching intently. Cuchulainn says, nothing major, but if I win this whole shebang, you wouldn't mind giving me your seat, would you? So he wants to be the supreme chancellor of the gods, the supreme ruler. He wants Zeus's seat on the council. Zeus starts belting out laughter. Dying. Ra scoffs this off, but he looks up and then thinks something. He says, but wait, Zeus, we can't just dismiss this as the inane prattling of a child, can we? Zeus tilts his head and says, Ra, whatever are you thinking? Ra says, why, you said it yourself. Ragnarok is nothing more than entertainment, with humans at the receiving end of destruction. A surefire win for us gods, so to speak. If this apocalypse, on the other hand, is an act of earnest war between the gods, and a tournament furthermore, and it's only fitting that the winner receives something for his troubles. No? You can attest, first and foremost, to the truth of that, can't you, Zeus? Zeus considers this and says, you've certainly struck a nerve there. I see now why you wouldn't just be satisfied with taking part in Ragnarok. Very well then, you and you. Let's see which of you makes it past the first round, confirming that our first round matchup is Ra versus Cuchulainn. And let me leave you with one last thing. Now that you've boasted as much as you have, your responsibility is all the greater. First, you'll have to prove to me whether you can back up all that boasting with a real show of strength. We get some cool panels. Both Cuchulainn and Ra, they stare off, they look at each other. Ra seems to be in disgust that this kid is going to challenge him, and Cuchulainn is just excited. But I kind of like this because it kind of explains that question I brought forth, like, why would Ra even be upset to not be in this tournament when Anubis is in this tournament, who's part of his pantheon? Ra is the supreme god of that pantheon, therefore he could just tell Anubis and bully him out of the position if he wanted to, like, hey, you're not fighting, I'm fighting. And by that logic, Anubis should even be allowed to fight if Ra didn't give him permission. But it makes more sense that Ra really doesn't care about these things, and he thinks that they're just stupid, and he wouldn't be bothered to fight if there wasn't something of interest to him as a reward for doing this and wasting his time. So now we get that explanation. Ra is going to do this tournament to win for whatever this reward that we're going to get revealed is. So I like that. Then cut to the Valhalla Cathedral, where we get the new ring announcer, and she is looking mighty crazy here, man. Yaru, Heimdall's assistant or underling, apprentice. And she says, before we get underway, the wait is over. The apocalypse is upon us. I have one important piece of information to share. The winner of the apocalypse will not only secure the final spot in Ragnarok, but as an extra prize, and yes, you're hearing me right, they'll be given the privilege of adding any one provision they wish to the Constitution of Valhalla. See Sun Wukong, Morgan, and 2 other unknown gods to this point react, both of which probably are on the tournament roster, I'd assume. Morgan looks excited. Wukong seems apprehensive. The gods are saying any provision to the Constitution of Valhalla. That's going too far. Is that even allowed? Yaru goes on to say the Constitution of Valhalla, the only universal and absolute law of the gods, so that all gods of every nation and era may exist in harmony. This is awarded by the Council of Valhalla itself. It's got their stamp of approval as a fair and legal privilege. So it's confirmed. Stakes have been raised. The god said, shit, this might as well be the main event. This might as well be the main prize. We then see Shiva. And he says, so they get to make up their own rule for all of heaven to follow? Hell, I wish they'd let me do that. One of the other gods says, you're forgetting about the outer gods. If one of them wins, we're screwed. Vishnu seems to say, agreed. Brahma says, I see, it's bait to bring in the strongest and most dangerous outer gods they can. So that kind of goes along with what I was talking about earlier. These outer gods aren't people that can really be controlled. They're not going to just do things because Zeus ordered it. So I think the truth of the matter is Zeus truly does want to gauge these guys' strength. And obviously we know that he's just a sucker for battle. He loves to see who the strongest is. So I think that this is all to be a show of strength for Zeus, that he's even stronger than these people. And he wanted to get around the laws and taboo of the council to see it. That's what I think. That's my theory at this point. Yari says, and after thorough pre-screening process, I present you the gnarliest, wildest, and most chaotic gods to ever grace the heavens. The lineup for the apocalypse. And here it is. I talked about this before in my other video, but here's the roster in totality. Ra versus Cuchulainn, Sun Wukong versus Prometheus, Suzaku versus Indra, the Vermilion Bird is Suzaku, Neza versus Morrigan, Ahura Mazda versus Muramasa, King Enma versus Death. So they calling him Death here. It was just Shinigami. It's supposed to be Shinigami, so Death. So I'm hoping it's just the god of death. The Grim Reaper of an American culture, that'd be kind of cool. Belial and Leviathan, 2 demons, and certain Hydra from the Norse. And it does seem that it is Hydra here, so I guess it's going to be the monster, which is a little bit weird. Especially considering that Hydra should already have been killed because Hercules completed his labors. This was Hercules' second labor, so how the hell is the Hydra even back alive? Also, if it is the Hydra, this is the worst matchup possible because Hercules killed the Hydra by cutting its heads off and then cauterizing the wound so he could not grow his heads back. Surtur is the Fire Lord. He's gonna have a flaming sword. So I seen that comment somebody posted. So who knows what they're gonna do with this? Hopefully there's a wrinkle to it. Maybe, I'm just throwing this out there now. Maybe where it says Hydra, that's where Zeus actually joins the tournament and he actually fights in that place. Don't be surprised if that happens. But then again, maybe Zeus doesn't even fight, because of course he's not on the roster, but obviously there's some way he has to get into the tournament. But don't forget, when he first fought Adam in the main story, Hercules said he didn't even know how long it's been since he played him in the battle. Now you could just say, well, maybe he just didn't play him in the battle for this tournament. I never got that impression. It kind of felt like it was a huge event for Zeus to fight, like it had been a long time, especially given the crowd's reaction to it. I think that there's going to be a major twist with the ending of this tournament, so I don't think it's all that predictable as some people are saying. We see some of the crowd say more than half those guys are outer gods. So yeah, the 5 we saw earlier, and then a couple of the others are outer gods as well. Guys are saying there isn't anything lighthearted about this now. Truly, as the name says, it's an apocalypse. We then see Zeus sitting at his chair. Hermes says the crowd is awfully excited for this. Ares says of course they are. Depending on how this turns out, the heavens as we know them could be shaken because of the provision that's going to be added. Zeus says, long ago I prevailed in the Titanomachy, and from then on I became known as the godfather of the cosmos, as well as the god of gods. If I can get a taste of the vigor that coursed through my veins then, no, a vigor that can surpass that, then the heavens can go to hell for all I care. So again, another reference to the Titanomachy. I always question like how the Titanomachy, if it was just between the Greeks, gave Zeus the title of god of gods. The only way I can think is that, you know, Kronos was the god of gods, so Zeus beating him took the title, but no other gods had anything to question on that. It's a little bit weird. Kind of implies that other gods from other pantheons were part of the Titanomachy, but you know, we've never had any indication of that, and we already saw a part of the roster, so I don't know. We need a lot more lore. Yaru says, and now for our first match, enter the fighters. We see all these Egyptian slaves, it seems, servants, on their hands and knees, stacked on top of each other, and at the top of this mound is Lord Ra. They scream out, glory to Lord Ra, as he sits atop the peak. If there was anyone more incensed at the idea of this tournament, everyone knows it would have had to have been him. Ra. And he looks truly pompous. He looks truly elite. Looks like he's above all of this. Not worried in the slightest. Hand on his face. To hell with Zeus. And who cares about Odin? About his blazing body is wrapped a divine and mystic veil. The god of gods is the god of the sun. I am the true peak of divinity. That is fucking epic. Like, you ain't the god of gods, Zeus. I'm challenging for that throne, and I'm the god of gods because I'm the god of the sun. That's pretty fucking cool. He thinks to himself, Zeus, you'd better be watching, because I'm about to demonstrate to the whole of the heavens what makes for a true king. So the truest king in the verse, man. We've already had King Leonidas. We've had King Qin Shi Huang, Emperor Qin Shi Huang. Another king. He would have been good to fight with Hades, Poseidon. All these other kings, could he sit at the top? This is going to be interesting, man. I'll tell you what. When I first saw Ra's design, I wasn't really buying it. Wasn't really sold on it. but I'm liking this guy. He's exuding aura, and the design is growing on me, man. We then see Ra standing, arms folded, and prepared for his opponent. We then cut to the other side of the arena. We then see that familiar dog and Cuchulainn petting him once more. He says, I'll be back, guys. Don't worry. That golden boy's got nothing on me. And now, up against him, says Yaru, a demigod. Now, when Ra hears the word demigod, a shudder hits him. He's disgusted by it. The gods are saying, what did they just say? A demigod? Then he's half human. And we get this awesome panel of Cuchulainn walking out, ripped to shreds, with what looks to be a tree branch that he uprooted from the ground, but it actually looks like it could be rope. I'm not sure what the hell this thing is. Maybe it's part of the lore. I'm not familiar, but this looks crazy and unique, to say the least. The guys are saying, hey, what is that thing? A log? A club? They're questioning it just as much as I am. Wait, who even is he? It looks like some seedy kid. Are you one of us, or are you one of them? And a sinister smile crosses his face. We see narration that says, born an unwanted child, carrying the sword of the undesirable. He's a lone hybrid warrior. Does he choose the noble life of a knight or the savage valor of a berserker? Ireland's Cuchulainn, demigod warrior, as he prepares for battle. Cuchulainn, a half-god, half-human hero from the myths of the Celts. He was thought to be a handsome young man, but still other stories of him tell of morphing into a demonic beast in battle. He is one of the outer gods. So another one, he was not pictured with the 5, so there's 6 now. From his past history, he's given the name Unruly. Ku listens to this, and this is interesting because I always wondered, they're listening to the introductions, right? So I wonder what they think about him, but he makes mention, he's like, well, just go and tell my whole story for me, don't you? Sorry, but I don't care whether I'm a god or human. I just do whatever I feel like. And if you get that, then let's get it on already, big man. Calling Ra big man again. Apocalypse round 1, match 1. Ra versus Cuchulainn begins. We see Ra say, foul demigod, my cleansing heat shall turn you to ashes. And Cuchulainn laughs and says, sorry, I can't hear you, big man. And that is the chapter, with unstoppable as the epithet for Ra and unruly the epithet for Cuchulainn. Long chapter, good chapter, peak chapter, ready for this fight. Now we have 2 Ragnarok fights per month, finishing off with Susanoo and Okita, but now we have Ra versus Cuchulainn, so Ragnarok's never been better. Who do you guys think is going to win this fight? Drop it in the comments below. We'll have more videos talking about theories and other things in the future. I'll see you guys then. Peace.